Happy Monday. We're doing gnomes today. We're going to do our, well, we never did get our gnome done for the month of July, and we still have August to go because we're doing one a month. So I am going to pull the gnomes that we've done so that we can look at them. And we're going to do a summer one today, which is hopefully going to be fairly simple and fun. So I hope that you guys will join me by grabbing some paper and, hey Suzanne, how's it going? Grabbing some watercolor paper and grabbing your paints. I'm going to be using gouache paints today because we're doing the gnome, and all of my gnomes I've done in gouache. And so I want to continue with that medium for the gnomes that we've done up to this point. So that is what I'm going to do, but feel free to do it in water. I am, Carrie, we're going to do our gnome because we have 6 of them done, and I want to do one for every month, and we're already in month 8, so we're 2 behind. So I'm going to go ahead and do a gnome today. We're going to do a summer gnome. So that is my plan today. So hopefully you guys will join me and paint with me. So these are what we've done so far. We just put them out here where you guys can see them. So that's where we're at up to this point, but we are going to do, we're going to do a summer one today. So let me grab first of all, let me put my mic on because I think I'm going to need it in case there's too much background noise. And then once I do that, I'm going to pull my wash paints. Can you guys hear me? I'm not showing that it's on. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me because I'm not showing. Is the mic on? Okay, good, Suzanne. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, I'm going to pull my Stay Wet palette because I'm going to want to use that. So I'm going to pull that down and open that up. Let's see. This is the Stay Wet palette by Nick Pro. But guys, you can use a wet paper towel and a plate. You don't have to have a Stay Wet palette. I just happen to have one. So, but you don't have to have one to do this, okay? You can also use watercolor. You don't have to use gouache paints. So it's totally up to you what you decide to do. All right. So we are going to, sorry, I was messing with stuff that I needed to. I'm going to change this out because I don't need, sorry, I was messing with stuff that I needed to. I'm going to change this out because I don't need. It is waterproof, or I'm sorry, airtight. So you can see that when I opened it, it has water still in it, and the paint is still nice and soft and usable. So if you like to use, matter of fact, I'm just going to turn it around and reuse this so I don't waste that gouache paint. But you don't have to, you can just close it up and let your paint sit there. It's been sitting there since the last gnome that we did, which was back in June. And it's nice and, nice and soft and easy to use. So it didn't dry out. so I don't have to reactivate it. And I do love that about my Stay Wet palettes, because I can utilize the paint and then I can do a, yeah, I can close it up and then months later I can come back to it and I have, you know, nice, wet, usable paint that's not been wasted. So that's kind of nice. So I do like that. Also, this palette comes with a set of brushes, a set of detail brushes, which is really nice too. So it's not just the palette, but it also comes with the sponges. It comes with the comes with a brush holder that sits beside it like this. And then it also comes with a set of brushes. And I don't think I have the brushes. I think I gave them to my niece, but because I didn't need them, because I already had a set of detail brushes. But it does come with a set of detail brushes that are really nice. So just know that if you're looking for a good Stay Wet palette, it's a great one to have. But again, you don't have to. You can use paper towel, and you can use just like a plate with a damp paper towel on it, and that will work as well. Okay. And then of course you want to have some water available too. These do kind of behave similarly to watercolors, but also they're opaque like acrylic paints. So they have kind of the best of both worlds on them. And that's what I love about gouache. Now, I'm not a gouache expert. I want you guys to know that right up front. It is not my wheelhouse. But the very first gnome that we painted this year was this one. And this one was done with gouache. And since I started the gnome series with gouache, I wanted to finish it. Plus, it gives me the opportunity to play around with them and learn how to use them. So that is why we will be doing gouache today for our gnome, because the other ones are already in gouache. And so I want to practice with it. And I also want to make sure gnome, because the other ones are already in gouache. And so I want to practice with it. And I also want to make sure. So I'm going to be using the Meeden watercolor paper today. And that paper comes in a block like this, and it's like got glue around all the edges. So you have to separate it out to get it off of there. And the way that you do that is you go right in between the edges here that are not glued down, and you just run your X-Acto down the edges, and you break the glue bond. And as you break that bond, it pulls the paper. Now you can paint this directly on to the block of paper, and then you can separate it later. But I am cutting mine into an ACEO size. And because I'm cutting it, I have to separate it ahead of time. Another thing that I love about this paper, or this particular size of paper, is that it's the size for 4 ACEOs, and you don't have any waste. So there's nothing that goes in the trash once you cut it up. It's perfect for 4 of them. So when I cut a sheet of paper off of here, I can get 4 ACEO sizes out of 1 sheet of paper, which is great because I don't have to worry about throwing things away. And I don't like it when I have an extra sheet of paper or extra little tidbit of paper that I can't use, because I feel bad about throwing that away because I don't like waste. All right, so let me cut this up into ACEOs. We're going to be using 2.5 by 3.5 inch in size. So just so you know, so go ahead and mark your paper if you're using the same size I am. I'll pull this glue up here. Go ahead and mark it at the 2.5 inch mark, and then at the 3.5 inch mark. And then we're going to cut it. Let me move this out of the way for a minute so I can put my cutting board down. And I am going to put my mark on the line where it gets cut at. And just make sure that is correct. And I'm going to cut it across. Okay, so we have our 2 2.5 inch sizes. And then we're going to cut at the 3.5 inch mark, which is right at the edge here. And we have 2 there, and then I'm going to mark this one again at 3.5 inches. And then I'll cut that as well. So where are you? There we go. Okay, so now we have 4 ACEO sizes, and I will grab one. Okay, so now we have 4 ACEO sizes, and I will grab one. What we're going to do. Hang on one second. Okay, I need to put my what we're going to do. Hang on one second. Okay, I need to put my phone on. I was getting phone calls. All right. So we have our ACEO here. I'm going to take mine down to a piece of MDF so that it has its borders. And I just use washi tape to do that. Now you can use any form of tape you want. And then let me show you guys what we're going to be doing. I'm going to pin it above so that you guys can see the inspiration photo for it. Now, they never end up exactly like the photo. We're just doing an inspiration photo. That's just to look at for inspiration purposes and to kind of get an idea of what we're doing. But that is what we're going to do. I'll show you a larger size of that in just a minute so that you can see it. Hang on. Let's see. Hang on. I'm trying to pull it up for you. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. All right. So here is the large image of it. Okay, so there it is. If you put your finger on the screen and you hold it down, it will give you the ability to clear the comments off the screen. And you can take a screenshot if you need a larger image of what we're going to be working on. But this is what it looks like. This is what we're going to be working on. And obviously it's not going to be exact, but that is what we're using as our inspiration photo. So it's going to be a little summer beach gnome. All right. So go ahead and take your screenshots at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we will get started on getting our paint colors out. All right, guys. All right, so we are going to need to have some yellows and blues. So make sure that you pull whatever colors you're wanting to use. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my gouache paints. These are the Meeden gouache, but you can use watercolors. You don't have to use gouache. I'm only using gouache. Well, hey, Jackson, how's it going? Are you painting? Are the Meeden gouache, but you can use watercolors. You don't have to use gouache. I'm only using gouache. Well, hey, Jackson, how's it going? Are you painting with? All right, so these are the colors that come in this Meeden gouache set. And I'm going to pull that up for you guys so you can see the set we're using. I have the 48 color set. I love the colors in this set, but also I love the fact that they're safe for children to use and they're also environmentally friendly. So we're going to pull some yellows and we are going to pull some blues or bluish greens, I think. So I think I'm going to use this 560 as one of my colors, and then some corresponding lighter colors that will go with this. If I can get it to open. There we go. Excuse me. So I'm going to put it right here. That'll be our first color. And then next, I'm going to use this lighter 559 as well. So I'm going to pull some of that out. You don't need a lot. You just need a little bit of these colors. So, and then let's see, what else do I need? Hang on. All right, we're going to need a little, like a lighter, a dark and a light yellow. So let's go ahead and pull the, I'm going to use this, and I think I'm going to use this. Those two colors. I might need a lighter color, so I'm going to use that as well. So I'm going to use the 210, 244, and the 216. But just pull whatever yellows you want. Sorry, guys. I don't know why my throat's feeling scratchy this morning. We must have some pollen coming in. Oh, these are hard to open. I need to clean the edging around them so that they don't dry out on them, and then it's not going to be hard to open. That's my fault for for letting them do that. Not cleaning them first. Oh shoot. I can't get the lid on, guys. Come on. There we go. All right. And then we're going to pull this one as well. So we have 3 different yellows. Then we're going to need some stuff for the greenery and for the flowers. So whatever color you want to do your flowers, go ahead and pull that as well. So I'm going to pull, I think I want to pull this green, which is the olive. I don't know why I always lean towards olive when I'm doing greenery. But for some reason, I do. It's always my option for the leaves and stems and stuff, so. There's this deep green too, but I think I'm going to skip that. I think I'm going to use this also. And, whoops. Then I'm going to use, let's see, I'm going to use these pinks. So I'm going to do a light pink. And I'm going to use a rose. This rose color is really pretty. I love this color. I've used it quite a few times. Okay. So now that we have our colors chosen, and we'll need some other colors too, I'm sure, throughout. I know we're going to need white, and I know we're going to need gray for the beard. So I'm going to go ahead and put some white on here. And I'm going to go ahead and put some, actually, I'm going to put this right here, this like lunar gray. rather than using the regular gray. And we'll also use that, well, maybe, I don't know if we'll use that for the skin or not. I think I'm going to use this light pink for the skin tone. All right, so there is our palette so far. I'm just going to put these aside just in case I need them for something, you know, if I need to pick another color. But for now, that's a starting palette for us, okay? So you should have some greenish blues, you should have some yellows, you should have 2 greens for your greenery, and then some whatever color you want to do your flowers or florals in. Okay, so that's where we're at. Now I'm going to be using my Meeden brush set, which is the 1, 3, 5, and 7. So I'm going to pull those. Let's see. Maybe I might pull those if I can find them. Oh, here they are. Okay. And then I'm also going to be using my golden maple brush set for my detail work. So there's going to be a couple different sizes in that as well. So let me pull those for you. I think I probably put those up already. But here is the 3/0 and then the 1. And then also I have the, what size is this? Let's see. This is a 2 round. But I may pull some other ones out of that set in a little while, so I'll let you know. Can we get the bigger inspiration to screenshot? Yes, Carrie, I can do that again for you. Hang on 1 second. All right, let me move these brushes out of the way. And then here is the larger picture. If you want to take a screenshot of it, now's the time. Remember, you can hold your finger on the screen and it'll give you the option to clear the comments off. And once you clear it, you can take a good screenshot without the comments and everything on there. That makes it a little easier to see. So everybody go ahead and take any screenshots you want of the inspiration photo we're using today. This is just a photo I had ChatGPT create. I said, make a summer gnome for me to paint in watercolor or gouache. And this is what we came up with. So it's not anybody's art that we're copying. Although I could give less of a patootie if you copy my art. It won't look the same as mine. And if I copy your art, it's not going to look the same as yours. So if you want to copy my art directly, that is perfectly fine. I'm not going to complain about it, and you don't even have to give me credit. I'm not going to be upset about it. I teach these techniques to practice for myself, and I also teach them for you to use. So if I'm teaching something online, I can't expect you not to actually use what I'm teaching. So I hope that you guys will use the techniques that you learn to create your own art, but also if you want to copy the designs that I do, you are more than welcome to do that with no problem, and I am not going to get upset about it. So I just want to make that clear from the get-go that you can go to town on creating the same things that I do. But it's really easy to get, I don't know what's wrong with this tape, y'all. It's really easy to get chat to create you something. You just tell it what you want to paint and tell it what kind of medium you're using, and it will create you an inspiration photo to do it, especially if you upload your art style. So what I've done is I've uploaded several paintings that I've done, and I've told chat, this is my medium, this is my style. And so when you create painting inspiration photos for me to paint, be sure you do it in my style. And so it knows how I paint. And that's the best way to do it, because then you can get new, fresh ideas all the time on painting, and you're not having to go and use other people's creations. But again, you are certainly welcome to use mine. I do not care. Okay. We are going to now, once we get it taped, I'm just doing a 1/4 inch border all the way around. I use washi tape because I just feel like it gives me the cleanest lines. But if you want to use painter's tape, or if you want to use art tape or masking tape or whatever you want, it doesn't matter to me. I just like using washi tape because I feel like it gives me really clean lines. And I tape it to a little piece of MDF, and I do that because I want to be able to move it. So if I tape it to the desk, I can't do that because I'm right-handed, so I need to be able to move it, the angles. And so that's why I tape it to a piece of board so that I can move it around. All right. Okay, hang on. I'm looking for... All right, so let's go ahead and start drawing our gnome. Okay, so I'm using the Nick Pro mechanical pencil set because that is what I prefer to use. I like to have a good mechanical pencil for consistent line work. When your line work is, or when you're drawing and you're using a regular pencil, as the lead goes down, the pencil gets wider, which means your lines get wider. And I don't like that. I want my lines to stay consistent when I'm doing my sketches. So that's why I use a mechanical pencil set. I'm using the 0.5 today, but the set that I have comes with the 0.5, the 0.7, and the 0.9, and then it comes with 3 2.0s. So you get several different sizes, and you just switch out your sizes based on how thick you want your lines. And that makes it much easier to stay consistent. So I am going to pull up my inspiration image so we can start drawing. And what we're going to do, guys, is I'm not going to draw all the florals and all that. We'll add those later with our brushes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the gnome, and I'm going to start at the top here with his hat. And I'm just going to do that little curly Q at the top. And let me move y'all where you can see my hand. So I'm going to start at the top with the little curly Q, and I'm going to bring it around, and I'm going to kind of just make it kind of squiggly. And I'm going to bring it all the way around the top, and then I'm making a triangle with this, and I'm coming down with it. Okay. And then I'm going to, Dawn, thank you so much for your purchase. I appreciate that. You're going to really like those gouache paints. I'm still learning how to use them, but I really like them. Every time I use them, I think I need to use these more. Then we're just going to follow that, and we're going to widen that out as we go and bring it down. Okay, so we've got this little kind of triangle with a little curly Q over the top. Mine's a little flat at the top, but that's all right. It doesn't matter. It's curling over like a gnome. Okay, now we have to do the nose so we know where the hat's going to go over the face. So we're going to go ahead and draw an oval right in the center where the nose is going to be. And then we're going to bring the edges of our hat kind of down and up to the nose. So make sure the edges of the hat are lower than the nose, and you go up and meet the nose. So it looks like it's kind of going over the top of the nose. And then we have the beard, which all I do for the beard is just kind of do the outline shape so that we have an idea of where that beard's going to be. I don't do all the detail work of the beard. I just give it the outline. Oh, I was almost off screen. Sorry, guys. Okay. And that gives me where I need to do the arms. So we're going to do the arm that's going to come out right here. And we have the hand. Well, actually, let's do the hand. So we're going to go, the way that you do the hand is you do like a little parentheses and another parentheses and another parentheses right here. And you finish that out here. And then you do another like little kind of oval circle right there for the thumb. Okay. And that's going to make the hand. Then we're going to have the sleeve kind of coming off like this. So there is the sleeve that comes over his hand. And there's kind of a little like gap there where the sleeve finishes. Okay. Finishes. Okay. And this is his shirt. It's part of his shirt. I need to fix that though. So his shirt kind of comes down like that. Okay, now we're going to draw the ball, which is going to come out from underneath his hand. And it's going to go over the top of his beard just slightly and around. Okay, so this part right here, we're going to erase on the beard because we don't need that. And come around. So the beard kind of stops right there. Okay, and we have the hand that goes over the top. All right. How are we doing so far? Good. All right, so we're going to have a little center of the beach ball here. And we're going to bring out those triangles like this. These are the little stripes on the beach ball. Okay. Actually, that's backwards. Sorry, guys. Let's fix this. Because it's coming around. So we're going to make them curve this way. Okay. All right. Then we've got, you know, the sand and stuff is going to be here. All right. So now we want to create his little legs and feet. So that is his pant leg right there. And then there is the bottom of his shirt is right there. And we're going to make his feet have sandals on them. Okay. So we're going to do a heel of his feet, of his foot. It's going to come forward with his toes. And then his toes are going to be those same parentheses all the way to the beach ball. And then we're going to draw our sandals over his foot. And then he's going to have a little sole coming around like that. That's his foot. I know it looks weird right now, but it won't. All right. The center of his beard is right here. We're going to make his other arm over here. And it's going to be holding the popsicle. So let's go ahead and do the popsicle, which is just going to be this round, like upside down U with a flat line going across it. And then we're going to have our stick. And then we're going to draw the hand. Again, the hand is like, it's this oval with these parentheses that curve in. So it's holding that popsicle stick. And then it goes into the sleeve. Okay. The sleeve comes around like this. And drops kind of down and up. And then the shirt comes down and across like that. Okay. How we doing so far? Good? All right. Time to do the other leg. The other leg, we're going to be able to see the shorts a little bit better. So we're going to bring those down like this. And we're going to kind of have that little cuff. And then the foot is going to be facing forward. So we're going to bring it, we're going to make it round. And then our toes come out like this. And then we're going to draw our sandal over the top. And we have the base that comes around. So it looks a little wild right now, but it won't when we paint it, because when we paint it, it's going to be a little bit different. So, okay, this one's a little bit tougher because we actually have feet that are showing on our gnome, whereas our other gnomes, our feet have kind of just been like rounded like this, which we could do that. So if you're having trouble with the feet, and if I'm struggling with it when I get to it, I may do that because I really am struggling with these feet. So, but we'll see what it looks like once we get paint and paper to it. But here is the shirt and the way the shirt comes around. And then the beard goes over the top there, okay? Because this foot is looking awkward. This one I think I can handle, but it's this one that's kind of off. So we may just do rounded shoes. Okay. Then we have our little bucket or starfish or whatever we have over here. We'll decide once we get that done. But that's the basics of what we need. All right. There is a sunshine that's right here. So we'll just kind of remind ourselves that that goes there. Okay. All right. Go ahead and get your kneaded eraser and let's lighten up all of our lines so that we just have a guide. Okay. So just roll it on there and lighten it up. Okay. And then pull out your, I'm going to start out with the detail brush number 1 because I don't need anything that's too big. And we're going to do the hat. Okay. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take, we're using gouache. Okay. So I'm going to use this bluish, this light blue green right here as the base color for the hat. And I'm going to end up then adding in that darker color in just a few minutes. So let me pull the gouache paints up again because that is what we're using. Again, I am not a gouache expert, nor am I someone who claims to be. Like I've used gouache very, very little, but I do like it and I do want to get better at it. You want to keep them wet, which is why I have it on a stay wet palette. But I also use water at the same time to kind of mix it. So have some water just like you do when you have watercolors, and keep your water near your paint so you can kind of have a puddle. I use kind of like a little puddle of paint with water to do this. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put it into, we're going to fill our hat with that color. Okay. You know what? Before we do that, let's give ourselves a background. So take a large brush and choose a background color in watercolor, which I'm going to just use this cerulean blue. And I'm going to put water on my entire page, just clear water. And then I'm going to dip into my cerulean blue and I'm going to put it all over my page. Don't panic if it's too dark. We're going to fix that in just a second, okay? But just give yourself some blue or whatever color you want your background to be. I don't care. You could do yellow or pink or, you know, any color you want. Once you've done that, go ahead and dry your brush and just pick that color up. This is just going to give you enough of a background that you have a frame for your art, but it's not going to interfere with the paint that we put on the paper afterwards. It's just going to give you a bit of a background, okay? It's going to look white when you're painting on it, but when you peel the tape, you're going to see it. So get that done and dry. And then we're going to add the color to our hat. Okay. All right. Once it's dry, go ahead now and take that light color and add it into your hat. And you can see how these colors are very opaque. They are not translucent like watercolors are. You can make them that way though if you add water and pick up color, just like with a just like with watercolor. Okay, so I'm gonna get this situated here where y'all can see the palette also. Okay, and so you're gonna just keep adding that in as your base. And again, try to keep it wet in case you want to pick up color later. Of course, you can always do that by adding more water to it, but I like to keep mine fairly wet. It spreads a little easier too when they're more wet than dry. So just know, you know, depending on what you're going for and how much color you want. So the less water you use, the darker these are going to be. And the more water you use, the lighter they're going to be, just like watercolor paints. So just make sure, you know, you're using the amount of water you want to use to get the color that you're going for. Okay. And we're just putting the whole thing, we're filling the whole thing up with this lighter blue color. And then once we get it filled, we're going to drop in some shadows. Okay, so we're going to have our light source coming from, the sun is on this side. So the light source is coming here. So all of our darker shadows are going to be on this left side. Okay. And this is where we're going to start making those creases in the hat. So go ahead and dip into your darker blue and make sure you have enough water to kind of give yourself a little bit of a blend so that these creases don't look too harsh. See how that's kind of spreading? So now I'm going to dry my brush off and I'm just going to kind of come in here and kind of blend those out so that we've got these little shadows where those creases should be. And it's not going to look perfect at first. These are the kind of paints that you kind of have to play around with because they're not going to blend exactly like watercolors, okay? So you're going to have to play with them and manipulate them until they do what you want them to do. But that's okay because that's the fun of it. Okay. And then we're going to do you're just going to go all the way down your hat, and wherever you feel like there needs to be a crease, that's where you're going to put in these darker shadows. So kind of as we go down the hat, you're going to see these creases show up. And you want to make sure that you blend them so they're not too harsh. And you can keep going in and you can keep adding until they get to the darkness that you want them to be. But you don't want to overdo it at first. Like, it's better to layer than it is to get carried away and accidentally. I mean, you can always take it away just like you can with watercolors, but it's easier to layer than doing anything else. So that's kind of what I like to do. I'm going to make the end tip of this the darkest and have it kind of fade up. Because that is bent over, so we know that's going to have kind of a shadow on it. Okay. Down here, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to give it a little bit of a harsh line kind of right here where that, like the part that goes over the nose, because that's going to be a little bit darker there. And then it's going to kind of come out a little further. And then I'm going to have those creases come in right there, like that. Can y'all see that? Well, there we go. All right, so how are we doing so far? You guys give me some comments and some feedback. Tap the screen, share it out, all the things, so that we can have so I kind of know where you're at. Okay, so y'all see how those shadows are kind of coming together now? So all I'm doing now is it's fairly dry. So I'm kind of just giving it an outline and then bringing those creases in as I outline it. So that they're a little bit more pronounced. And we can kind of know where the wrinkles are in the hat. Okay. And again, over here where this lip happens, we're going to kind of give it some shadowing. Okay. This is kind of janky right here, so I'm going to fix this. I'm going to add some water here so that I can kind of blend this, because it was getting a little harsh, and I don't want that. If that happens, just add water and blend it out, and it'll be fine. Don't panic. I used to panic when I would make those mistakes, but the great part about gouache and about watercolor, hey Jessica, how's it going? Is that it's forgiving. Like you can definitely fix it. You know, there's no need to panic when you get too much or too much color, you have a mistake in an area. You just add water to it and fix it. Okay. All right, so there is our hat. Looks pretty good. We're going to put some dots on it with some Langu pins in a little while, but right now I'm not going to worry about that. Let's go ahead and get the nose done. So what we're going to do with the nose is we are going to fill it with water first so that we have some moisture. And we're going to take our skin color and we're going to just fill that in. our nose. And then I'm going to rinse my brush, and while it's still wet, I'm going to drop in just a tad of this pink on this left side. I have too much water on there. Hang on. I gotta pick up some of that water. Now I'm going to drop in some pink. Right on the left side so that it has kind of a shadow. Okay, so we have kind of a little shadow on our nose. Okay, all right. Antisocial introvert, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. All right, so now let's go ahead and start doing our, I'm going to add in some, hang on guys. Okay, sorry, I had to get us some music going. It's so quiet when I start focusing. All right, let me just get that fixed just a little bit. I kind of missed some spots on the nose there. All right. All right, so now let's go ahead and get the beard taken care of, because that's going to be kind of our guide for everything else, okay? So what we're going to do to get this beard color is we're going to take some of the white, and we're going to take just a tad of this like gray color, and we're going to mix them together. Now what you're going to see is that it's going to look almost white, okay? That's the idea. We want it to be almost white, but we don't want it to be the color of the paper. So almost white is what we're going for, okay? So make sure that you have enough color in there that it's not the same color as the background. So don't do just white, okay? And all we're going to do is we're going to kind of just give ourselves the shape of our beard. And that way we have our, our outline to start. And then it kind of stops at the ball. So we don't have, so we go around the top of the ball there like that, because the ball is going to be in front of the beard. Okay. All right. Now rinse your brush. And while you have clean water, just kind of spread that across. Remember, this is activated with water. So if you put water to it, it's going to spread. And you want to drag that color up into the beard as far as you can. So that you have an almost white beard, but you have enough of a color that you can tell it's a beard and not just the paper, right? That's the idea. And the outline of it is a little bit darker, and that's okay. We're going to add in some streaks and some hair in there to fix that, but just drag it up first. Okay, so you have kind of this outlined look. And you're going to take that same color and you're going to go ahead and give him some streaks with that color. And you're going to start kind of at the top around the nose and just kind of bring them down. Just like that. Okay, so now we have what looks like a beard that's almost white, but it's got enough color that we can tell there's a beard there, right? That's what we want. So that gives us the rest of his shirt and everything that we're able to do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our yellow and we are going to, I'm going to use this light yellow first. That's going to be the base. So I'm going to drop in some water. And we're going to take that light yellow and we're going to add it to the sleeve. And the part of the shirt that's showing. Around the beard. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add that over here as well. It's going to come up. Actually, is going to start up here. Okay, and go ahead and add that base in for the sleeve and the shirt on this side. I do think I might go with without the sandals on the feet. The closer I get to it, the more I think that it might be better to do regular feet. So you guys can do sandals if you want, but I think I'm going to do regular feet because I have just not mastered that as well as I would like. But we'll see when I get there. I might to do it though. Okay, there's also a little bit of the shirt that shows right here. Okay, so we've got that shirt. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add in the wrinkles. Okay, so go ahead and clean your brush and add some water to your darker yellow color that we picked, which is this right here. It's like an orangish yellow. And we're going to go in and we're going to add in our creases for our sleeve. Okay, so that's going to be like right here where the sleeve contacts the shirt. So we're going to add in there and kind of go across it. And then we're also going to kind of pull in some creases there. You'll see that. And then the sleeve kind of starts like that. So there's where my outline goes. And then we'll bring our outline through here. Okay. Now, I'm going to add in a little bit of brown, like an ochre color, because I feel like we need a little darker crease on the inside of the sleeve. So I'm going to pull out this yellow ochre and I'm just going to put a little bit on my palette so that I can use that for that crease. So I'm going to take this darker color and right here at the sleeve, where the sleeve connects to the shirt, I'm going to bring out a little bit more of a crease there because I feel like that needs to be more pronounced. Honestly, all of them could probably go with that color a little bit so that they're more noticeable. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. I think that looks better. What do you guys think with that? These are gouache, Linda. So they're like watercolor and acrylics together. It's kind of like if watercolor and acrylics had a baby. That would be gouache. I'm not an expert at gouache. We do a gnome every single month in gouache just to practice and play around. So all of these are done in gouache. Most of my wheelhouse is actually watercolor, but I'm really embracing and learning and trying to have fun with gouache. So once a month we do a gnome, and we do it with gouache paint. So that's what we're doing today. We're just playing around and learning together. My tutorials are not for me to necessarily teach as much as they are to practice, and then we all practice together. So all right, so we're going to go ahead and do our outline up here and all of our creases for the shirts. I'm just going with the ochre right off the bat, since we figured out that that's the best way for us to do any of the shadows. So I'm outlining the sleeve and the, all of that first. And remember, this is where the sleeve kind of connects to the shirt. So we're going to kind of give ourselves a crease right there. And then we're going to kind of give ourselves a crease or an outline as it comes up like that and meets the hand. And then we'll bring this down. And I think I'm going to have to go back in with that darker yellow because you can see it on the other side. So I want it to match. So I'm going to do the darker yellow too, just so we've got both like we do on the other side. Which I like, so it's fine. I want to do a little bit of a shadow around the beard because you're going to have some shadowing where the beard is going over the top of the shirt. And I'm going to kind of just smooth that out with water. So it's just slightly darker in those areas. Okay. All right, so there we have the shirt. All right, let's go ahead and let's do the popsicle next. So I'm going to take my light blue. Oops, I got yellow mixed in with that. Dump your water, get fresh water. And because that yellow will mix in and make green, and we don't want that. Okay. And go ahead and get your base color for your popsicle in there. But we do watercolor most days. Thanks, Nat. You're welcome, Linda. Thanks for joining. I'm not quite sure how to use them either, but I'm learning. All right, so we're going to make the popsicle little lines that, like the grooves that go in the popsicle. So dry your first layer of paint. And then once that's dry, we're going to take this darker color of blue, green, and we're going to do a line And we're going to kind of make it thicker on the left side. And we're going to do that again over here. And that's going to give us those, like, the look of like that. Like the popsicles are kind of have that groove in them. You know how popsicles do. Okay. Rinse your brush. And let's do the shorts next. We're going to do those with the dark blue. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to do them with the light first. So go ahead and fill in the shorts. Okay. And then we're going to have to do the hems and the creases of the shorts. Okay. So what we're going to do that is, let's see, how do I want to do that? I think I want to dry it. It'll be easier to do it dry. These don't blend. I'm usually on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday between 10:30 and 11. And then, I'm sorry, not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday between 10:30 and 11. Wednesday evenings, usually around 6 or 7. And then Thursday and Friday at 10:30, between 10:30 and 11. So most days between 10:30 and 11. I can't do Wednesday mornings because I have my grandkids on Tuesday night and they stay with me through Wednesday afternoon. So I do Wednesday evenings instead. You are so welcome. All right, so let's go ahead and do this hem right here. We're going to take that darker green and we're going to draw the hem across the foot. And then we are going to bring the shadowing from the corner right here. Oh, I smeared his hat. I didn't realize that was still wet. That's weird. I wonder why it was still wet. It's okay. I'll fix it in a little while. Okay, so just keep adding your shadows to the shorts as you need to until you feel like it's looking creased. Now we know the creases on the inside here are going to be fairly dark because it's on the inside of our legs there. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going to take that darker and you're just going to make your hem, and then you're going to add your creases. Okay. Just like that. All right, let's do, first let's take this ochre color and do our popsicle stick. And then we're going to take our skin color and I'm going to lighten that up with some white, make it really, really light. I don't want it to be super pinky, but we definitely want it to be skin colored. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to fill in my hands. We'll come back with a detail brush or detail pen and do the fingers and all of that. So just fill it in for now. Same thing over here, fill in the hand. And we'll add the fingers in once it's dry. Okay, all right, now we have to decide on the feet. And honestly, you guys, I really think that I'm going to just get rid of these extra lines here. I wonder if I could, this is hard. I just don't know what I want to do here. I think I'm just going to draw. I think I'm just going to do the feet in a dark green. I'm just going to do shoes. So what I'm going to, no, not a dark green. I'm going to do it in the yellow. I'm going to take this yellow and I'm going to go, I'm just going to make my round feet. Because I don't want to attempt the sandals. I'm just not prepared for that. So here's his big old feet. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to come off like that. And that's fine because all of my gnome feet have been kind of rounded feet like that. So I'm going to just keep it that way. And once that dries, I'll add in some detail with my grabby multi-liner. Okay. Now we got to do the beach ball. Now with the beach ball, we're going to go ahead and start adding in some of the color, the other colors. So I'm going to use this pink. Okay. And I'm going to do a section of the beach ball with the pink. And then I'm also going to do a section with this middle yellow right here. And then I'm going to do this light blue. Right there. And I'm also going to do the light blue right here. This will bleed like watercolor if you're not wet. I mean, like if your sections are wet, they're not dry. So take a dry brush and clean it up if that happens. And just make sure they're dry before you move on. I'm going to dry those. Okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of green. We'll do this green right here as well. We'll add in some of that. This isn't your typical red, white, and blue beach ball. This is a different kind of different color. We'll go with yellow again right here. We're going to add in some details and stuff too to kind of make this, give this more depth in just a minute. But for now, we just want to get all that color in there. And then let's do another pink. It's just slightly different color pink because I didn't mix any colors with it, so that's fine. But now we have that beach ball. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in the center with this almost white color that we used in the beard, and I'm going to put that in the middle of the beach ball. Whoops. Don't let it spread though. And we'll draw in the lines and detail on that in just a minute once that dries. Also, I'm going to add in a little bit of the shorts right here as well, because the shorts should come across his foot and I kind of messed that up. So I'm just going to go back and fix that really quickly. All right. Now I want to add some flowers or some florals. So I'm going to go through with not that color. I'm going to use the olive green. I'm just going to add some water to that olive green. And I'm going to, you know what? I don't know if I want to do that because there's not really florals on the beach. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to do the sand. So I'm going to take some of this gray and some of this ochre, kind of mix that together to come up with a sand color. And I'm just going to make some sand. Like he's standing on the beach, right? And if we want to, we can do a starfish or something. Let me dry this first. Let's put some details in with our multi-liner. And then once we've done that, we can see, hi Gma, how's it going? Then we can decide on whether we want to do a starfish or not. I think he may be fine without it, but let me just grab my multi-liner. I'm going to use the 003 because that's going to be the most subtle. I might use an 005 as well. But for now, we're going to use the 003 because I don't want it to overpower anything. And we want to give our beach ball and our hand our fingers some some lines. And we want it to be very subtle because it will overpower everything if we don't. Okay. Okay. All I'm doing is just outlining the parts that I feel like need to be outlined to kind of give it a little bit of depth. Do some cross hatching on his nose. And then our feet, we're going to do that. We're going to give him his shoes. Okay. Let me see. I don't know. We may need to. Yeah, I'm just going to outline. I'm just going to give a little bit of outline to all of his clothes. Not a lot. I'm not doing all the lines, but I'm just giving him some marks. And then the same thing with the hat. I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but if I want it to kind of be cohesive, they all need to have some black details in them. If they all need to have some black details in them. Okay, there we go. That brought it together. Okay, there he is. He looks pretty good. All right, now I think I don't necessarily think that I want to do a starfish. I think I want to add in some water, like there's maybe an ocean behind him. So I'm going to grab some of the cerulean blue, and which is this, and I'm going to actually, is that cerulean? Yeah. And I'm going to put that out on my palette. We're going to make some water because I want him to have an ocean behind him. So we're just going to kind of do it like that. And this, I'm going to do the whole thing blue. We're going to make it like it's kind of waving in. like that. And then I'm going to dry it. I'm going to give it a few little white caps to make it look more like an ocean. Whoops. I missed this part right here. I need to have water in there too. Okay, so now he's standing kind of in front of the beach. All right, I'm going to take my white. I'm just going to kind of give it some foam, like when you're at the beach, right? There we go. Ta-da! Okay, next, I think we need some birds. What do you guys think? Let's go ahead and get a bird. I'm going to do that with just my multi-liner. So I'm going to take my 005 and I'm just going to do a little bird. And one right here. Just like that. So we have birds in the sky. I didn't do the sunshine. I don't think it needs it personally. I think it's fine without it. Just going to erase those extra lines. And let's see what else. Oh, we want to do dots. Okay, so let me get my white Langu pen out. These Langu pens are amazing for layering because they have this upgraded ink that you can layer with. And so I'm going to do my white dots with those because they will layer over the top of this hat really well. So let me pull it. And I always like to make sure the ink is flowing before I do anything. And then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add my dots. Here I was talking about how good they are, and for some reason my white is not wanting to work today. I never have any issues with it usually. There we go. Just took it a minute to kick in. All right, we gave him some dots. Let's do, yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do the flowers on his shirt. Just the dots. All right. And then it's time to do some splatter. And today I'm going to splatter with the #1 round from Golden Maple. I'm going to take the darkest blue color right here. I'm going to do lots of water and color. And then I'm going to just tap. I'm going to cover up his beard. I don't want his beard to have splatters on it. So I'm going to kind of cover that up. With my paper towel. There we go. All right. And now I'm going to tap. And voila, we're done. Simple and easy. How did you guys do on this? I hope you did wonderful. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to peel the tape. The most satisfying part to get that frame. You guys see that frame from the light blue that we put on the background? That's why we do that first, because then we have this little frame. I love it. So cute. There's our summer beach gnome. And I think he turned out great. You guys have to tell me what you think about today's class. Now, as you can see, you see the difference in the inspiration photo and the actual image. That's why I say, like, you can do the same paintings that I do. Yours is never going to look like mine, and mine is never going to look like yours, because we're all different artists. So we don't have to worry about that. There is enough room at the table for all of us to do the techniques and enjoy art and do the same things and not feel like we are being copied. Because honestly, art is different for every person. So your gnome that we just did together is not going to look like mine, I promise you. So hopefully you guys had fun today. Everybody that made purchases, I'm really thankful for that. I hope that you guys enjoy the tutorial and that you will come back again tomorrow. I will be back again tomorrow morning around 10:30. We're going to do a really fun, let me see if I can show you what we're going to do tomorrow. I don't know if I have it. Let me look. Let me pull it up really fast, because I've already had chat create the thing that we're going to do tomorrow. It's a little mushroom house. It's super cute. Hang on. Just find it. So tomorrow we are going to be doing, is that the black pen, Linda? Is that what you're talking about? Doing, is that the black pen, Linda? Is that what you're talking about? Proof multi-liner. They're made by Grabby. This is the pen set that I have. I'll pin it for you. And it comes with 10 different black sizes. So you get your 003 all the way up. And then you get your colored ones. You get 10 different colors as well. The white pen that I used was from my Langu set. Those are the upgraded. The white pen that I used was from my Langu set. Those are the upgraded acrylic. It's acrylic paint, but they have a point. And so that's these right here. And they, so let me show you, right here. So I have the 90 count. So you can see these are all the colors that they come with. And all of these, plus the white that I have pulled. So that's the 90 count set that I have. And they have the upgraded ink for layering. And again, it's acrylic paint. So they layer over watercolor and gouache really, really nicely. So sorry guys, I got to put this back on my tripod. There we go. So that's the Langu pens. And again, they write really well. They're retractable too, so you don't have to keep up with the lid. The one thing that I will tell you about these is the paint tends to dry on the tips after you use them. So before I use them, I always take a piece of paper and color and make sure the ink is flowing before I, before I start using them. Because it is acrylic paint. So if there's a little bit of paint on the tip of your pen, that acrylic is going to dry. Another thing that you could do is after you use it, just make sure you wipe it off with a paper towel before you retract it, and that helps as well. So, but that's really the only flaw that they have. Like, they're really good, like ink, and the flow is really well. They're juicy, And again, it's acrylic paint, which I like because acrylic layers really well. So, so yeah, so that's a nice little set and I love it. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions about anything that we did today? This is going to go into our gnome collection. So this was our very first one that we did, was for Valentine's Day. And then we did a January gnome after we did the Valentine's Day gnome, because then we decided we were going to do it for each one. So this is our January gnome. This is our February gnome. This was our Easter gnome, which was for March. And then we did a spring gnome for April. We also did a St. Patrick's Day gnome. And we did a July, or like a patriotic Memorial Day gnome. So we did that. And now we are adding our summer one to it. So we are still behind by one though, y'all, because we're in month 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we only have 7 and we're in month 8. So we're going to have to do one more gnome this month. And all of these are done with the gouache, the Meeden gouache paints, which I normally do watercolor. So just so you know, my normal tutorials every day are with watercolor, except when we do our gnomes. When we do our gnomes, we use the gouache paints to play around and learn, because I have not quite gotten the hang of gouache. And so I like to step out of the box occasionally and do something that's a different medium than is my wheelhouse. And that is what these are. These are all my gouache paintings. And so this was today's. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. If you have any questions about any of the products that we used, let's go through them really quickly so that you know what they were. The first one was the Meeden gouache paints. It's pinned right here. These paints are, and I used the Stay Wet palette from Nick Pro, and this Stay Wet palette is airtight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this palette and I am going to close it up. So I'm going to put this lid on it. Now it is airtight, and that palette is going to remain like wet. And when I use it next time, I won't have to, I can use the paints that are in here. They don't go to waste. So I do love having a Stay Wet palette for that reason, that I don't have to throw that away now. I can actually use those paints again. So we use the Stay Wet palette from Nick Pro. I think that's product number 30. It is. It's right here. This is the Nick Pro miniature painting art supply kit. It comes with a set of miniature brushes too, or not miniature brushes, but brushes for miniature or for detail. So it comes with a detail brush set. I do not have the detail brush set to show you because I gave it to my niece because I didn't need it. I already had a good detail brush set, so I didn't need it. So I gave her that set. But it does come with a set of detail brushes as well. And you also get your foam, and you get all your paper inserts and everything. You also get your brush holder so that as you're painting, you can set your brush on that and it doesn't, get on your desk. So that's good as well. So that's the Stay Wet palette that we used today. We also used the Nick Pro pencil set for sketching out our drawing. So let me pull that up for you guys so you can see it. It's right here. This is the mechanical pencil set. And the reason I like a mechanical pencil set is I like the fact that it helps me get consistent line work. So this set comes with all of your leads. It comes with your 0.5, your 0.7, and your 0.9, and then all your 2.0s as well. It also comes with some erasers, and then of course all your different sizes in your leads and your pen refills. It also comes with different hardnesses of lead. So you get your HB, and you also get your other, like the HB right here is what I have in here, but you can also use get other ones as well. Okay. And this is a great set to have because you can keep good consistent line work when you're painting, or when you're drawing. So like one of the things that I notice when I use pencils is that just a regular pencil is that when the pencil lead gets dull, the line gets thicker. But if you can see here, I used like a 0.7, or I used the 0.9 on the whiskers, and then I used the 0.7 for the hair, and I used the 0.5 for all of my shading. And the reason that each one of these is consistent is because even though the lead may go down, the lead stays the same width. But when you use a pencil, it doesn't. It widens out. And so you get these really wide lines as it gets duller. And so your line work isn't consistent. Lori, all of the gnome tutorials are on my TubeView. The replays are up there at Coach Ellen's Creations. So and it's also in the LINK in my BIO on my TikTok page. And you can find me on TubeView, and I put all of my live tutorials up there. Okay. Thank you, Feral Mom. How are you? It's good to see you. So yeah, if you want to be able to, oh, I see what you're saying. You want the sketches? Is that what you're asking me, Laurie? If I have the sketches available? I see you've been hiding. I haven't seen you in a while. This was your first ever gnome, Carrie? Okay, well, you're going to have to go back and do the other ones now. Lori, I do not have the sketches of my gnomes. I draw them on my lives and show you how to draw them on my lives. So like if you go and do the replays, it will show you exactly how to draw it. Okay, because I drew it on live today. So when we did this, it started out as a blank page and we drew it together. So all of my tutorials show you step by step the drawing of the gnome and also the painting of the gnomes. Okay, so if you have any questions, and you can reach out to me if you have any questions or you struggle with something and I can try to help you. I am not a professional artist, you guys, okay? I learn as we go. And so that's one of the reasons that I come on here live every day is to practice and learn with you guys. So some of my stuff turns out disastrous. Like this little guy here, he was rough and I struggled with him and he's not great, but he's still cute. And so I just learn with y'all. And so some of my stuff doesn't necessarily turn out, but definitely it's fun and that's the point. And so if you guys want to learn with me, then I say join me on lives every day because that is where that's where we all learn together. So thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. Thanks for the heart, me. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just learning as I go and I'm teaching you guys as I learn the mistakes that I'm making and also the things that I'm doing right. So thank you so much. It's Tracy from the bookstore. I appreciate that. Yeah, so that's what we do. So again, we do one gnome. Usually we do one gnome each month with gouache, and then the rest of the time I'm doing watercolors normally. And so like the last series in watercolors that we just finished up were this series of all of the little summer flower girls. Let me see if I can find the rest of them. So we did this series. Let me see. This was the strawberry, and this was the lavender, and this was the peony, and we had a sunflower, and this one was just a kind of a wild hair. So that is, that was the last series that we finished up, was this Flower Girl series. Again, all of these replays are available on my TubeView, so be sure you go there and subscribe, but don't, I can't really direct you there. So, but yeah. And then we also did a summer fun animal series also live. So that were our little beach series. And then we also did fruit. Oh, there's more of our beach series. And then we did some really fun fruit We did this series. These are all watercolor. So these are all the ones. All of these will be going up on my EBAY soon. But yeah, so all of those are available for you guys. Okay, so if you want to learn, then replays are available. All right. And I'm here every day, roughly every day at 10:30. Thank you, Lori. Every day at 10:30, except Wednesdays, I'm on at usually 6 or 7 in the evening because I can't do Wednesday mornings. So, but every other day, I'm usually on about roughly sometime between 10:30 and 11 is when I log on. So between 10:30 and 11 is when I log on. So I learned how to simplify. I tend to do a lot of detail in my art, and hers are much more like simplified, and I love that. I wish I could do that. I tend to just put too much detail into mine. I spend more time than necessary, I think, on them. So, but anyway, but yeah, I've learned quite a few techniques from her as well. So I take that as a compliment. Hi, Stacy Lee. How are you? We finished up a gnome today. We did our summer gnome with gouache paints today. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I hope you guys had fun today. I hope you'll join me tomorrow around 10:30 and we'll hang out and we'll do some more fun stuff. Oh, I was going to show you the drawing that we're going to do tomorrow. Let me show you that really quickly. Because this is the one that we're going to work on tomorrow. So we're going to do a mushroom house tomorrow. And if you guys want to join me for that, that's what we will be doing tomorrow morning around 10:30, 10:45-ish. Hi, Mary. How are you? Thank you for the rose, Winter Sand. I appreciate it. Aw, thank you so much, Carrie. I know. I think it's going to be super adorable and fun tomorrow. So we'll be doing that tomorrow at around 10:30-ish. Okay? Oh, yay, Stacy, you're getting your stitches out. I'm glad. That's awesome. Okay, guys, I appreciate everybody joining me today. Thank you so much. I'll be on later this afternoon doing a tutorial for Xtool. So if you guys are into laser printing and laser designs, I'm going to be doing that this afternoon. So I will see you guys this afternoon, or I will see you tomorrow morning for our art tutorial. All right, guys? Thanks. You guys have a great